Sports have long held a special place in the hearts of people all over the world. There is something about watching athletes compete at a high level that brings out the best in humanity, and yet sometimes, even sports can become embroiled in scandal. From doping to bribery and beyond, these 10 most shocking sports scandals of all time demonstrate how far some will go to gain an advantage or win. Number 10. The 1919 Black Sox Scandal. The 1919 Black Sox scandal involved 8 Chicago White Sox players who were accused of intentionally losing the 1919 World Series for financial gain. The players, including star outfielder Shoeless Joe Jackson, were alleged to have taken bribes from gamblers to throw the series against the Cincinnati Reds. The players were subsequently banned from professional baseball for life by Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis. The scandal came to light after the series, when a grand jury was convened to investigate allegations of game fixing. The players were acquitted of criminal charges in 1921, but the baseball commissioner, Kennesaw Mountain Landis, banned them from the sport for life. The ban was imposed, despite the acquittal, because of the perception that the players' actions had damaged the integrity of the game. The players banned were Shoeless Joe Jackson, Eddie Cicotte, Lefty Williams, Chick Gandil, Fred McMullen, Buck Weaver, Hap Felsch. The aftermath of the scandal had a significant impact on baseball and the players involved. The 8 banned players, including Joe Jackson, were not eligible for induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame, despite their exceptional playing records. The scandal also led to an increased focus on the integrity of the game and the need for stronger regulations to prevent similar incidents in the future. The Black Sox scandal remains one of the most infamous events in baseball history, and the players' actions continue to be debated to this day. Number 9. The Balco Scandal in the early 2000s. The Balco scandal of the early 2000s was a scandal involving the Bay Area laboratory cooperative, Balco, a company that supplied performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, to several high-profile athletes. The scandal came to light in 2003, when federal agents raided Balco's offices, seizing thousands of documents and other evidence of illegal PED distribution. The investigation was led by the United States Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, and the United States Food and Drug Administration, FDA, which uncovered evidence that Balco had supplied a wide range of PEDs to athletes from various sports, including baseball, football, track and field, and cycling. Some of the athletes who were implicated in the scandal include baseball players Barry Bonds and Jason Giambi, football player Bill Romanowski, and track and field athletes Tim Montgomery and Marion Jones. Many of the athletes involved in the scandal initially denied any wrongdoing, but eventually several of them admitted to using PEDs provided by Balco. Some of them were banned from their sport for several years, while others were stripped of their records and awards. The Balco scandal also led to increased scrutiny of PED use in sports and the implementation of stricter testing and penalties for athletes who were found to be using banned substances. The founder of Balco, Victor Conti, pleaded guilty in 2005 to charges of steroid distribution and money laundering, and served 4 months in prison. Balco's head of track and field, Remy Korchemny, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute steroids and was sentenced to probation. Number 8. The Spygate Scandal in 2007. The Spygate scandal in 2007 involved the New England Patriots, who were accused of illegally filming opposing team signals in violation of NFL rules. The scandal came to light during the 2007 season, when a Patriots employee was caught filming the signals of the New York Jets coaching staff during a regular season game. The NFL launched an investigation into the incident, and it was found that the Patriots had been filming opposing team signals for several years. The team was accused of using the footage to gain an unfair advantage during games by being able to predict opposing teams' plays. The NFL fined the Patriots $250,000 and head coach Bill Belichick $500,000, and took away a first-round draft pick from the team. The Patriots organization and head coach Bill Belichick initially denied any wrongdoing and claimed the incident was a mistake, but the NFL investigation found that this has been a practice for several years. The team and the coach acknowledged that the filming was in violation of league rules and apologized for the incident. The Spygate scandal was a significant event in the NFL and led to increased scrutiny of teams' compliance with league rules. It also resulted in the NFL strengthening its rules and penalties for teams found to be breaking league rules, and teams are now more cautious about their activities in compliance with NFL regulations. Number 7. The FIFA scandal in 2015. The FIFA scandal in 2015 was a major corruption scandal involving the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, FIFA, the governing body of association football, soccer. The scandal came to light in May 2015 when several high-ranking FIFA officials were arrested in Zurich, Switzerland, on charges of bribery, money laundering, and wire fraud related to the awarding of World Cup host nations. The investigation was led by the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, in conjunction with law enforcement agencies in several other countries. The DOJ charged 14 individuals with various crimes, including racketeering, wire fraud, and money laundering. The charges were related to over $200 million in bribes and kickbacks involving the hosting of the World Cups, broadcast rights, and other soccer tournaments. The FIFA scandal was a significant event in the world of soccer and led to the resignation of FIFA President Sepp Blatter and several other high-ranking officials. Several of the individuals charged pleaded guilty and were sentenced to prison, while others were extradited to the United States to face trial. The scandal also led to increased scrutiny of FIFA's governance and the implementation of several reforms to improve transparency and integrity in the organization. The FIFA scandal also led to the resignation of different executives found wanting. Number 6. The Lance Armstrong doping scandal in 2012. The Lance Armstrong doping scandal in 2012 was a scandal involved American cyclist Lance Armstrong, who was accused of using performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, throughout his career. The scandal came to light in 2012, when the United States anti-doping agency, USADA, launched an investigation into allegations of PED use by Armstrong and his team. The investigation was led by the USADA, which collected evidence from former teammates, team staff, and other individuals with knowledge of Armstrong's doping practices. The USADA found evidence of Armstrong's use of PEDs, including erythropoietin, EPO, blood transfusions, testosterone, and other banned substances. Armstrong was also found to have engaged in a systematic cover-up of his doping activities. In October 2012, the USADA issued a lifetime ban for Armstrong from professional cycling and stripped him of his 7 Tour de France titles, along with all other results dating back to August 1998. The International Cycling Union, UCI, the sport's governing body, accepted the USADA's findings and sanctions. This was a significant event in the world of cycling and led to calls for stricter regulations and harsher penalties for athletes found to be using PEDs. It also had a significant impact on Armstrong's reputation and legacy. He was forced to relinquish his Tour de France titles and banned from competing in professional cycling events. He also lost several sponsorships and endorsements as a result of the scandal. Number 5. The Tim Donaghy scandal in 2007. The Tim Donaghy scandal in 2007 involved a former NBA referee, Tim Donaghy, who was found to have bet on games that he officiated, and to have provided inside information to others for gambling purposes. The scandal came to light in 2007, when Donaghy was investigated and subsequently charged by the FBI. In July 2007, Donaghy pleaded guilty to 2 federal charges related to the scandal: conspiracy to engage in wire fraud and transmitting betting information through interstate commerce. He was sentenced to 15 months in prison and 3 years of supervised release, and was ordered to pay $217,000 in restitution. The NBA conducted its own investigation into the matter and ultimately determined that Donaghy had bet on games during the 2005 to 2006 and 2006 to 2007 seasons. The league also found that 2 other referees had made calls that benefited Donaghy's gambling picks, but they were not charged or disciplined. The scandal resulted in significant damage to the NBA's reputation and raised questions about the integrity of the league's officiating. In response, the NBA implemented a number of changes to its rules and procedures to enhance the transparency and accountability of its referees, including the introduction of a system for reviewing and assessing the performance of referees, and the establishment of a hotline for reporting misconduct. In the end, it was a huge slur that shook the whole NBA community, and the league took some serious steps to avoid such scandals in the future. Number 4. The Deflategate scandal in 2015. The Deflategate scandal in 2015 involved allegations that the New England Patriots deliberately deflated footballs used in the AFC Championship game against the Indianapolis Colts on January 18, 2015. The NFL launched an investigation into the matter, led by attorney Ted Wells. The investigation found that it was more probable than not that Patriots personnel, including quarterback Tom Brady, were involved in a scheme to deflate the footballs. As a result of the investigation, the NFL imposed a number of penalties against the Patriots, including a $1 million fine, the loss of a first-round draft pick, and a 4-game suspension for Brady. The team and Brady denied any wrongdoing and appealed the penalties. In April 2015, the NFL upheld the penalties, and the matter was taken to court. In September 2015, a federal judge overturned the 4-game suspension of Brady, stating that the NFL had not treated him fairly. However, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals later overturned the ruling, reinstating the 4-game suspension. After several appeals and legal proceedings, in July 2016, the U.S. Second Circuit Court of Appeals reinstated the 4-game suspension of Tom Brady. He served the suspension at the start of the 2016 NFL season. Deflategate was one of the most high-profile sports controversies in recent years, with many people having strong opinions on both sides of the issue. The NFL's handling of the situation was heavily criticized, and the league's disciplinary procedures were called into question. The whole incident caused a lot of debate among the fans and sports analysts about the integrity of the game and the role of the commissioner's office in the league's operations. Number 3. The University of North Carolina academic scandal in 2010. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill academic scandal, also known as the UNC scandal or UNC Scandal 2010, began in 2010 and involved allegations of academic fraud and improper conduct by student-athletes and staff within the university's athletic department. The scandal centered around a system of paper classes that were offered by the university's African and Afro-American Studies department. These classes did not have any actual instruction, but students were given high grades for submitting a single-term paper, regardless of the quality of the work submitted. The university initially denied any wrongdoing, but in 2011, an investigation by the university found that the classes were aberrant and that the university had failed to properly oversee them. The university also found that many of the students who took the classes were athletes, and that many of the papers submitted were written by a tutor who was later found to have been working with the athletic department. The NCAA, National Collegiate Athletic Association, conducted its own investigation into the matter, and in 2012, it concluded that the university had committed multiple violations of NCAA rules, including lack of institutional control. As a result, the NCAA imposed penalties on the university, including a 1-year postseason ban for the football team, a reduction of scholarships, and the vacation of wins. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill also took steps to address the issues that led to the scandal, including the creation of an academic review board, the implementation of new academic policies and oversight procedures, and the dismissal of several staff members. The scandal had a significant impact on the university and its athletic department, causing reputational damage and raising questions about the balance between academics and athletics in college sports. The university also faced multiple legal suits from former students and athletes who claimed that the university had failed to provide them with a quality education. Number 2. The Pete Rose scandal in 1989. The Pete Rose scandal, which broke in 1989, is regarded as one of the worst in sports history because it involved one of the most iconic and respected players in baseball history being banned from the sport for life due to allegations of gambling. Specifically, Rose was accused of betting on baseball games, including games involving his own team, the Cincinnati Reds. The scandal began when a report from the Dowd Report, which was commissioned by Major League Baseball, alleged that Rose had bet on baseball games. Rose initially denied the allegations, but later admitted to betting on baseball games, though he maintained that he never bet against his own team. As a result of the scandal, Rose was permanently banned from baseball by then-Commissioner A. Bartlett Giamatti. The ban, which is still in effect today, means that Rose cannot be elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame, despite his impressive career statistics. Rose has filed multiple appeals and petitions to be reinstated, but they have all been denied. He has also publicly apologized for his actions. The handling and management of the scandal was done by the Commissioner and the Baseball Commissioner's Office. The Commissioner's Office also have the right to investigate any allegations of gambling and enforce penalties if found guilty. Number 1. The Nannygate Scandal in 2007. The Nannygate scandal in 2007 was a major scandal in the world of professional tennis, involving several high-profile female players. The scandal broke when it was revealed that several players, including Martina Hingis, Amelie Mauresmo, and Nicole Vadisova, had used illegal performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, provided by their coaches, who were acting as nannies. The incident was first brought to light by a Slovakian nanny, who claimed that she had provided PEDs to several high-profile players. The case was then investigated by the International Tennis Federation, ITF, which eventually found several players guilty of doping and banned them from the sport. The Nannygate scandal was one of the worst in sports history because it involved several of the top players in the sport and because it called into question the integrity of the sport itself. The use of PEDs in sports is widely considered to be a major violation of the rules and is strictly prohibited. The incident was managed and handled by the ITF, which is responsible for enforcing the rules and regulations of tennis. The ITF conducted an investigation, and those players who were found guilty of doping were punished accordingly. The ITF also implemented stricter measures to prevent future PED use, including increasing the number of random drug tests and increasing the penalties for those found guilty. Sports scandals have been an unfortunate part of the sports industry for years. Fans, players, and organizations alike have had to suffer through the aftermath of these major events that were uncovered by the media. Despite all of these scandals, many athletes, teams, and organizations have worked hard to rebuild their reputations in the eyes of the public.